Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Spartan Scoop. I'm your host, Krista Koch, and today we'll be doing another one of our quick deep dive episodes into the NACE career readiness competencies. Today I'll be joined by our Director for Marketing and Design for Student Success, Ashley Hacker, as we discuss the competency of professionalism. We'll talk a little bit about what professionalism means in the workplace, how it shows up, and how you can demonstrate to employers that you have this skill. Here's my conversation with Ashley. Professionalism can feel like one of those kind of like things that you know when you see it, but I don't know that a lot of people think about how to actually define it. So, it kind of in your experience, in your words, how would you define professionalism in the workplace?
I would look at professionalism as being consistent. So, how you show up. Are you prepared? Are you communicating clearly and timely? Are you respecting others' time? And are you taking ownership of your work? I don't think it is formal as people may think it sounds, professionalism, but it's more about how do you make the people around you feel? Do they feel informed? Do they feel supported? Are they confident in working with you? It's also about self-awareness, so being aware of your own behavior and how it impacts the team, knowing when to ask questions and being able to navigate challenges, without losing your sense of respect or empathy is how I would define professionalism.
Yeah, that sounds really good. So, you are a seasoned professional. You've been doing this, working in an office environment for most of your career. Has your I guess your sense or your definition of professionalism changed at all over the years? And if so, how is it different now than it was when you first started?
Absolutely, I would say that it's probably evolved a lot. So, early in my career, I think professionalism meant being polished and perfect and formal all the time, with appearances or following rules to a T. And then over time, I've learned that professionalism is more than that. And there's a lot of human aspect to that, and it's not always perfect. So now I see it as more of being adaptable, communicating, emotional intelligence plays a role in there as well. And I think it's just about creating boundaries, asking for help, providing updates, leaning on your teammates, and just learning how everyone works together, but everyone works very differently. That everyone's an individual, and how we come together to accomplish the task, and how we treat one another is ultimately what it comes down to.
Yeah, so this is a theme that has been coming out as we've been recording these other episodes on the NACE competencies, is that they all tie together, right? Because I'm hearing like elements of teamwork and communication tying into professionalism for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it all definitely comes together to work together.
Right. So you can't just have like one of the NACE competencies. So when you're bringing on a new intern, since you hire a lot of interns, what does it look like for them from day one?
So from day one, I think just being able to ask questions. I know that no one's going to come in knowing everything they need to do. So definitely no expectation of perfection at all. But I look for someone who's curious, who asks questions, who communicates and shows that they're putting in effort. Maybe trying to answer their own question first, looking for the answer somewhere, or if not asking them. And then I think showing up on time, engaging, asking questions, and then taking notes, making sure you're bringing a notepad and a pen with you when you're going to ask your supervisor questions is always a good thing to do. And then also being open to feedback while giving updates. So I look for interns to take accountability and ownership. And if they make a mistake, we can talk about it. I think that professionalism is not really about knowing everything, it's about how the student is approaching the learning process.
Yeah. All right. So then that ties into career and self development as well, right? Because you have to be thinking about that too. All right. So that is what you're looking for from an intern when they start. Have you noticed, I guess, any kind of common gaps in people that were just starting out, like things that maybe they don't think about that might be seen as not professional?
I think one thing, and it might just be because of schedules. So an intern, they're not working 40 hours a week, and they've got classes in between. But one thing that I think is so important is kind of checking in and then checking out. And letting your supervisor know, like, here's where I started with things, here's where this project has been left off, so that the next time that they're coming in, we kind of know where something has been left off at, and having that regular check-in, and that I think it just comes back down again to that communication is really key. I think that might be one that's probably the biggest one, is probably just that communication and thinking through to, like, the next step of the project and where we're leaving off and where we'll pick back up again.
So communication, it sounds like it's kind of a two-way thing. You as a supervisor, you're also trying to make sure that you are available or that you're communicating well with your interns as well, right? It's not necessarily like a one-sided thing.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I have to be good myself with making sure that I'm doing check-ins as well, because a day can fly by and you're moving on to the next thing, and so just having those regular check-ins where we can talk about, like, what we're working on, but also how is it going and what areas are you looking to develop in more, or what skills do you want to gain, and, is there anything else that I can help you learn or any other questions that I can answer?
All right. So can you share a story about a time when maybe one of your interns or a group of them impressed you with their professionalism? What did they do?
Yeah, something that was really impressive to me was the way that our marketing interns started their internship, and I had given them a calendar that I thought we could use to organize our work, and they really took that and ran with it. So not only did they plan out Instagram posts that needed to be done in the immediate, week ahead, but they were looking ahead to the rest of the semester, and they were factoring in things like event dates that we had, and other academic key dates and things like that. And they came up with a plan that they have, and then they've also followed through with it. So not only did they plan, they had the follow through as well, and they're communicating when other priorities arise. So they are asking me if they should change the plan for that day, and just really staying on top of what they had planned out. And I think that was impressive because it showed not only really great planning skills, but also follow through and communication as well.
You mentioned a little bit earlier that part of professionalism is ability to take feedback. So, how do you handle giving feedback when you need to give some constructive feedback? And then how should somebody professionally accept feedback?
So I try not to approach feedback as correcting, but rather more of coaching. I know that students aren't going to know everything. Nobody is. No one is perfect. Like said earlier, professionalism, there's a lot of a human aspect with this. So no one is perfect. Everyone is learning. I'm still receiving feedback. Everybody is. So I approach it as coaching and talking about the why behind the feedback. So whether that was a deadline or um, what a certain thing that went wrong, maybe, or that didn't work out. Talking about the why behind it, so then we can talk about what we can do differently going forward, and what type of support that I can offer, so that we can make the corrective action that we need to take. My goal is to, in doing this type of coaching, is to build confidence, and I don't want anyone to feel like it's shut down by the whole feedback process. So, and then taking that feedback would be to acknowledge, like, where they, see that maybe something had gone wrong, and also maybe what they plan to do to address it, so that we don't have the same thing happen again, what or ask any questions that they have, so that we can move forward with the project.
Yeah. So feedback is just one of those things you're going to always get in the workplace, and it's ability to take that feedback and act on it doesn't it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? If your supervisor is giving you feedback, it typically means that they are trying to help you succeed,
Yeah.
and so it shouldn't be seen as a negative thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I we were recently at a visit with some employers, and they were talking about how that's something that they often struggle with is feedback for new employees and having it be seen as a positive thing and not necessarily as a negative thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not always easy to give feedback either. I think you
Right.
really have to think through how to do it the right way, so that you're not hurting anyone's confidence and building them up.
Yeah, yeah. Um All right. So is professionalism, I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but is professionalism something that you think you can teach or that a person can learn? Or is it something that people either get or not? Like, are there people that are professional and people that just aren't?
I definitely think it's something that you can learn. I think it's something that you can look to others to learn as well. So if there's someone that you work with or a fellow classmate or someone that you think just kind of has it right, I would look at what are they doing that makes them appear to be, a professional. Like what skills do they have? What confidence do they have? Or how do they carry themselves? How do they communicate with others? Those are all types of things I would look to as, someone who could be a role model and learn from them. I would ask others where you could, strengthen your skill and professionalism.
Yeah, so I think that that leads into kind of the next question then is it is likely as a professional you'll have to learn what professionalism means in whatever industry you go into, right? It's going to look different in different industries. Um, so how could students navigate that? How could students learn what the, I guess, quote unquote, the rules are for whichever industry they go into?
I think looking to others.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, role models, looking to others and, pay attention. How do they communicate? How do they respond to people? How are meetings run? Are they asking clarifying questions? Kind of, do they carry themselves with a certain confidence? All of those things can look like professionalism. And I think that we can look to others as we're adapting our own. I think we're all still learning what professionalism means and what it looks like, and what it even looks like within different teams can be different. So, always adapting, I guess, and being willing to grow more in your own skills in terms of professionalism.
All right. So once somebody kind of has the basics down, they're reliable, they're appropriately dressed, all the things that you normally think about for professionalism. What's next? How do they level up their professionalism beyond just appearances?
I would say the next level is taking ownership. So, being able to anticipate needs or suggesting ideas, improving the process instead of just completing the task. I think it's also about emotional maturity, some emotional intelligence there. Staying steady, maybe when things get busy, having that stable, having that stability where you're not panicking, maybe you're helping reassure those around you that you're going to be okay, that you're going to get through it. Also, receiving feedback well and being someone that others can count on would be ways that you can take it to the next level.
Well, let's talk about authenticity a little bit. Is it possible to be yourself and still be professional? How do you navigate that? What if your personality is very sort of easygoing? How do you still bring that professionalism to the workplace?
I think you'll still have your own personality. I don't think professionalism takes that away. I think it just helps define how you show your personality. So you can still be warm, funny, creative. You might still be introverted, but you can still very much be professional. So it's not about changing who you are. It's about showing up as your best self in a way that's supporting your team.
All right, so last question is, what's your, like, one thing? If there's one thing you wish every student who's looking to get an internship or looking to get that first job knew about professionalism, what would it be?
I think it's communication. So not being afraid to communicate. If you're unsure, ask questions. If you're stuck, speak up. If you need time, let them know. Just say so. I think that communication is really the foundation of professionalism. I think that seems to come up a lot in this conversation, and I think it's the best way to stand out for in any situation too. And over communicating, I don't think that ever hurts. And I think that your supervisor will appreciate that, your team will appreciate the communication, and no one is expecting perfection at all.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
talking about professionalism a little bit.